Buenos dias, everybody. I'm Ronan Unchained, and we've concluded The Sandman, the first season of the Netflix series. It delivered for me. It delivered and kept me wanting more, and yet there was a nice conclusion to this journey about Morpheus not learning his humanity, but saying, do I really want to go back to the way people viewed me, or is this a second chance to evolve? Not just be better, but just be more connected to the people around me, whether we're gods or many demigods or what may have you. That's the one thing I took away, is that in a weird way, him being captured for over a century was a burden and a blessing. And you see that when Lucien tries to interact with him about how he should approach this new danger that's coming, or some dangers that are out loose, and how he takes his talk towards her, and how the people who left the dream realm take it looking towards Lucien because he was gone and she got everything done, and they're not used to him being back. And the perfect example is with Merv or Marvin, the Pumpkinhead, played by Mark Hamill, which, I want to see more of that character. I want a Funko Pop of that one, or a figure. But I really enjoyed what Morpheus goes through, and even the danger, if you will, of what's to come with Rose and her brother, and how he sees that he doesn't want to harm her, but needs for the greater good. And then when stuff unravels and goes in it, you're like, oh please, is there any other way to finish this off? And unfortunately there is. And then there's even a moment with even the antagonist of this show where you have sympathy for. They do horrendous, heinous stuff, and yet at their end, or at the conclusion of this story for them, you pity them. You feel bad that they went down this route. And there's this great scene between the Corinthian and Morpheus about creation, that you created me this way, or da da da, and then it's fascinating. And just shout out to Boyd Holbrook as well, because the Corinthian is just he was just eating it up as this guy, and visually striking, cool looking dude. But take off those glasses, look at him from the inside, and it's whew, I don't know about that. I said it in my reaction, but Kirby as Death, for me, what I've seen and read of the books, nailed it. The one thing that I tell people, even with that character or with this show in general, is that as someone who's read part of the books, I can say that at least the feel and the spirit of what I read was transformed into this. It was passed on into this series, and whether they changed a lot of stuff or big stuff or small stuff, micro or macro, the spirit for me was there in this show. From everyone, from Desired, who just you could tell something was cooking. Shout out to the actress of Desired. That was cool. Nobody looked out of place. Even I gotta give a shout out to Rose, the people who Rose stayed with a little bit with her friend / stepmother. There's this house where she goes to find her brother, or this area in Florida. There's this group of people living together in a small community, and yet I was like, I could see a 5-episode miniseries of them and what was happening in that house and what each of them went on their adventures. Granted, we did spend time with them, but I was just like, that was such a cool setting and a unique group of characters that I would be like, all right, I like spending time with them. Stephen Fry, he's just a treasure. And then when the revelation happens, you're like, oh, that's sweet that like one of them was willing to die for these kids and for this kid. They teased Lucifer again, which more of Gwendolyn Christie is fine by me. I adore her. I just want to see more of her. I want to see more of Joanne Constantine. The fact that Neil Gaiman, you could feel he was heavily part of this process. I appreciate that as a fan of pop culture. And it's I've been right now in a Neil Gaiman phase, just trying to look as many interviews of his as I can, watch Coraline or rewatch American Gods again, or even read some of his books. It's a fascinating time, and they just recreated so many shots from the book to this. I mean, the porch scene with the pigeons and Death and Morpheus was just lovely, and shout out to Rose and her family. The Dream Vortex scenario, that was sweet. The brother honoring, I think it was like sort of like a nod or honor to the original DC Sandman. That was cool. Seeing the three nightmares, if you will, or entities that left. Corinthian, the Greenland, and then I forgot the other one who was with Rose's brother. But I thought that was such a sweet element. Matthew the Raven, Patton Oswalt. Being sort of like the Mickey to Morpheus's Rocky and whatnot. I dug that. And just well done on the cast and the crew, people behind the show. Even though I only did a few reactions, I really dug it. And hopefully season 2 comes about, and keep up the good work. If you enjoyed the review, thank you, and I'll see you next time. Or in the dreams.